CBS 4 I-Team investigation into your safety. In the 9 years since the terrorist attacks of 9/11, the federal government has spent billions of your tax dollars supposedly to create better security and aviation safety. But a 6-month I-Team investigation into security at our airports raises serious questions about how much safer we really are. Here's I-Team investigator Stephen Stock.
When police surrounded Miami International Airport, evacuating passengers and shutting it down last month because security teams found what they thought was a pipe bomb in luggage coming in from London, top TSA officials trumpeted the seizure as evidence that the system works. That TSA screeners were more vigilant in discovering a threat than their counterparts overseas. But critics, many of them former and current TSA and FAA officials, say the opposite is true, that all this bag checking, screening, restricting liquids and gels, and forcing passengers to take off their shoes is actually a facade. Smoke and mirrors, security theater.
Absolutely, a security theater.
Bogdan Zakovich served as a federal air marshal, a leader of the FAA Red Team, and now currently works for TSA in Washington, D.C.
But the conclusions that TSA should have reached by now, 9 years later, is that whatever they think they are doing clearly does not work, and there's something else you need to do. And we identified the same issue before 9/11.
They bought a lot of bells and whistles.
For 9 years, Brian Sullivan served as an FAA special agent inside the nation's security apparatus before he retired in January 2001.
And they continue to try to make us feel safe and secure. And unfortunately, that's probably the main purpose of all of this.
Sullivan now lives near Boston and continues to work in aviation security, serving as an expert consultant to the families of 9/11 victims who filed lawsuits over failures in aviation security. He points to recent Congressional General Accountability reports and DHS Inspector General reports that show TSA screeners consistently fail to catch test weapons and bomb materials that then get onto airplanes.
In 2007, the GAO again tested, and they tested at 19 airports. And what they tested was, can we get IEDs, improvised explosive devices, broken down into their separate components, either on the person or in the bag or on multiple people? Can we get those explosives onto the plane? 19 airports out of 19 failed.
The failure rate from the beginning, from the end of the Bush administration to the beginning of the Obama administration was off the charts.
Florida Congressman John Mica is the ranking Republican on the House Transportation Committee that oversees the TSA and FAA. As a committee member, Mica sees classified inspection reports on TSA failure rates and confirms that the failure rates for TSA screeners continue to be troubling.
We test the system, so I know how the system works and it doesn't work. That's classified information, but I can tell you publicly that the results that I've gotten, even of late with this huge bureaucracy, huge number of employees, even with some advanced technology, the results are not good.
There is a failure rate that is higher than it should be.
Minnesota Democrat James Oberstar chairs the Transportation Committee and sees the same classified report cards on TSA security.
There needs to be more recurrent training for the personnel. They have to be at their peak efficiency all throughout their shift.
Is this failure rate acceptable in your mind, the way it is now?
No, they need to improve, vastly improve the detection rate.
Now, TSA turned down our invitation for a spokesperson to actually sit down in front of our cameras and talk about these issues and answer questions. A high TSA official from Washington who asked not to be identified did admit to me that TSA has been, quote, in disarray for years, but that same source insists things are now getting better. Shannon, Antonio?
This is so disturbing. And also disturbing is what you said at the beginning of the piece. MIA got evacuated.
That's right.
For a canister, and they crowed about that being a success.
Had it been a bomb, absolutely would have been.
That had made it all the way across the Atlantic.
Yeah, absolutely. And the critics are saying that's the kind of problem we're all facing, and it is serious, serious, serious. They're calling on Congress to fix this problem and fix it now.
I'm going to stay on top of it, Stephen.
You bet.
I know. Thanks.